name is Capote-Sanchez, and today we're going to be talking about Buddhist and positive psychology and how it affects orphan children and the children of unhealthy parents. Buddhist psychology and positive psychology focus on healthy functioning and concern with life experiences and emotions such as happiness. Positive and Buddhist psychology are very similar. Both Buddhist psychology and positive psychology focus on the individual becoming a happier person by accepting their current situations, being optimistic for their futures, accepting their past, and working towards a capacity for love and vocation, courage, forgiveness, and more. Because both Buddhist and positive psychology have such similar ideologies, I decided that because I have recently taken up meditation due to my health and illness psychology class, I wanted to explore how Buddhist psychology would influence orphan children or the children of unhealthy parents. Buddhist psychology has the Four Noble Truths, which are there is suffering, the origin of suffering, the end of suffering, and the Eightfold Path. An orphan or child with unhealthy parents may suffer. However, Buddhist psychology's First Noble Truth teaches us that there is suffering and that this suffering and frustration can block us from attaining what we want. Therefore, Buddhist psychology teaches us that we are not allowed to feel sorry for ourselves and we must accept what we have. The Second Noble Truth, the origin of suffering. Buddhist psychology teaches us that we may suffer because we yearn for things we cannot have. These children may yearn or crave their biological parents or for healthier parents, but they do not realize that perhaps the pretty picture they paint or desire is actually a horrid image. Therefore, we crave the wrong things because we are deluded about what would make us happy. The Third Noble Truth, the end of suffering. In order to stop suffering, one must stop yearning. Orphans and children with unhealthy parents are taught through Buddhist psychology to stop yearning the things they cannot have. They must give up these attachments or ideas and attitudes to become more open to present experience and new information. By doing this, their individual ego or self is relinquished because it is not real, but a mere illusion. The Fourth Noble Truth, the Eightfold Path. We know that suffering exists and that suffering will end once your craving ends. The Eightfold Path outlines how this is achieved: right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. This path avoids the extremes of either self-indulgence or self-mortification. One must not deprive themselves or indulge themselves. Therefore, orphans or the children of unhealthy parents must not indulge themselves. Buddhist psychology and emotions. Buddhist psychology offers insights into many personality concepts such as the self or ego, transience, and mortality. Buddhist psychology promotes self-compassion. In Western societies, many people suffer from low self-esteem. Buddhist psychology promotes self-compassion, which entails treating oneself with kindness, recognizing one's shared humanity, and being mindful when considering negative aspects of oneself. This way, you will not suffer from narcissism and aggression that comes along with self-esteem. As is known, many orphans or children of unhealthy parents may feel large amounts of aggression towards the parents that left them or towards their parents who may not be able to provide for them properly due to their unhealthiness. If they are self-compassionate, they will begin to treat themselves with kindness, realize that their parents are only human, and will become mindful and aware of the negative parts of themselves like this anger. Buddhist psychology also teaches that we do not know ourselves because we are constantly changing. Therefore, holding on to such beliefs or anger is not allowing us to change or grow in order to progress towards the goal of liberation. Transience and mortality. Buddhist psychology teaches that things are constantly changing. Therefore, this helps teach orphan and the children of unhealthy parents that life is constantly changing, and their situations today may not be the same tomorrow. Therefore, it would teach them to let go and accept what is to come. It also promotes the idea of mortality. They do not believe that there is an eternal soul, but they promote the idea that death is not something to fear. This particular belief would benefit the children of unhealthy parents. Buddhists practice a Zen-inspired meditation in which they practice their own death. This promotes the idea that death is not scary and thus would benefit these children so that they would learn to not fear the inevitable. Buddhist psychologists also discuss behavior and how behavior can influence how we feel and how we deal with certain circumstances in life. Behavior, good or bad, can be changed by stopping the underlying thoughts. Buddhists believe in ceasing the chronic egotistic observation that is the habit of an undisciplined mind. Buddhist psychology claims that those who let go of their selfish desires or thoughts will automatically become better people. If orphans or the children of unhealthy parents give up the desires they think they need or want, they will become better people and will therefore live better lives. Buddhist psychology also discusses emotions. Emotions can be made healthy through learning, and happiness is the natural consequence of following the right spiritual path. They discuss sukha, anger, and love. According to Buddhist psychology, the primary goal that people should have is to achieve lasting happiness. This is known as sukha. Sukha comes from an internal source, not from external things or experiences. It requires long years of disciplines to achieve. Things that bring happiness in the short run often have the opposite consequences in the long run. We must learn the true nature of reality so that we may make wiser choices that would lead to happiness. If orphans and the children of unhealthy parents would practice this, they would ideally learn true happiness. Orphan children may grow happy when they find clues as to where their biological parents are, and the children of unhealthy parents may grow happy to learn that their parents are getting healthier. But will these things bring them everlasting happiness? No, because they are momentary events that will not last. If one grows to feel happiness internally or on their own, they would no longer need to depend on external events that can change. Buddhist psychology calls those who are possessed by anger as being in the hell realm. They believe that the only way out of this realm is to observe one's feelings of anger and hatred clearly. Anger diminishes when one's sense of self expands to include compassionate identifications with others without clinging to desires and without protecting an individual self. The individual is not provoked to anger. To deal with your anger, it is recommended that you use methods such as mindful breathing and mindful walking. If children who are orphans or have unhealthy parents would release their anger at being orphaned or of having unhealthy parents, they would be free of this hell realm and would therefore be able to live happier lives. By practicing some of these methods, they would learn to understand themselves and their anger more clearly to the extent where they will be able to move away from it. It is known that a lot of children who are orphaned feel a strong connection to the parents that gave them up. They may idolize the parents in order to give them an appropriate explanation as to why they left them behind and are therefore building their love up for these people. For example, an orphan child may believe that their parents gave them up simply because they were going to outer space. Obviously, this would be the explanation of a younger child, but once they find their biological parents, they may learn that the parents actually gave them up due to a drug addiction. If orphan children were able to let go of this amount of love, they would have an accurate perception of reality and realize that happiness comes from within and not from those around us. Buddhist psychology has many spiritual practices. Meditation is one of them. Meditation is a fundamental practice in Buddhism in which attention is consciously regulated to achieve insight and enhance well-being. There are two forms of meditation: concentrative meditation and mindfulness meditation. Buddhists also practice yoga. Concentrative meditation is a form of meditation in which attention is focused on a particular object, such as the breath of a word or a phrase. This is where comes from. This form of meditation helps reduce distractions that come from external stimuli and from one's own distracting thoughts. Mindfulness meditation allows thoughts to appear as they will and observes them without enjoyment. Therefore, it would lead orphan children and the children of unhealthy parents to the following Buddhist conclusion. If the problem is such that there is a solution, there is no need to worry about it. If there is no solution, then there is no point in being overwhelmed and paralyzed. In conclusion, Buddhist psychology encourages the growth of happiness, satisfaction with what you do have, and acceptance of what you cannot change. Therefore, if these children can learn to let go of their wishful thinking, of their anger, and practice meditation or yoga, they would live happier and fuller lives with what they do have. By taking part in these actions, their personality would be able to develop normally or perhaps better than children who are not in their situations. Even as healthy adults, we have a hard time accepting our current situations and finding internal happiness. If these children, who are not as privileged, can learn from Buddhist psychology, they will grow to be happy with what they do have and will therefore never fall into an identity crisis or psychological illnesses such as depression. The video my professor provided, the Dalai Lama's Seeds of Love and Compassion, I found a lot of underlying themes from other psychologists' theories, such as Horney's Basic Hostility and Seeds of Evil, Adler's theory on the development of personality, Einstein's theory of attachment, and Buddhist psychology. In the beginning of the video, the Dalai Lama explains that children who receive love and compassion from their parents at a young age grow to be more compassionate. This particular concept relates to Horney's basic evil theory, which leads the children to feel basic hostility. When a child is not presented with love and compassion at a young age, they feel anger towards the parent, which leads them to feelings of dependency, fear of the parents, and a fear of loss of love. The Dalai Lama explains that he visited an orphanage in Poland where the children were described as unwanted children, and through this lack of love, they would grow to have physical and emotional problems. Horney's theory stated that through feelings of basic hostility, the children would be driven to neurosis. The Dalai Lama explains that we all come from the same place, our mothers, and therefore our seeds of compassion and love all start at the same place. By saying this, the Dalai Lama is again agreeing with Horney. Horney's theory emphasizes childhood parental love as essential for healthy development, whereas neglect produces a fundamental conflict that endures for the rest of their lives. The Dalai Lama goes on to explain how as a child, his mother was always very loving and compassionate, and his father was always the stricter parent. This statement relates to Adler's belief of the development of personality. Adler believed that the mother influences the development of social feeling, the cooperative attitude that distinguishes healthy from unhealthy styles of life, and the father was the authority figure that teaches the child about power and its selfish or socially responsible expression. The Dalai Lama recalls that when he was a child, his mother would carry him on her shoulders and he would direct which way he wanted to go by pulling on her ears. When she did not comply, he would kick, much like a spoiled child, and even then his mother was loving and compassionate. He then states that he believes it is because of his mother's love and compassion that he has grown to become such a compassionate man. By stating this, the Dalai Lama is agreeing with Einstein's theory of secure attachment. When a parent provides secure attachment, the child grows to have self-confidence to investigate the world. The child trusts others but prefers their parent and is easy to forgive the parent and seek their affection. If you are a securely attached child, you will grow into an adult who would feel more trust towards their partners, are able to resolve conflicts within relationships more maturely, and are comfortable depending on others and having them depend on them, and do not worry about being abandoned or about someone getting too close. The Dalai Lama explains that a family with a lot of money may not be happy, whereas a poor family with very little money but true values live happier. By stating this, the Dalai Lama is agreeing with the Buddhist psychology that states that things that we may expect us to bring us happiness, such as money, may not provide us with happiness. It may instead bring about sadness or more desires that cannot be fulfilled. The poor family is satisfied with what they have and are therefore happier and appreciative of what they have. He also explains that anger, hatred, and such negative emotions are scientifically proven to affect our immune system. In saying this, the Dalai Lama is relating to Buddhist psychology. Buddhist psychologists believe that negative emotions not only lead us to the hell realm, but also to unhealthy habits and to an unhealthy state. Thank you. Thank you for your time.